The glass fell from my hand and broke on the floor of my expensive apartment. Outside the window, the city lights sparkled below me, but I couldn't see anything. All I could see was the email on my phone. The email that proved she knew. She knew everything before it happened. My hand shook as I read the messages. Bank account numbers, business secrets, everything I was planning. She had sent it all to my enemy 3 days before my big deal. And at the bottom, one line that made my heart stop. Payment received. Thank you, Olivia. I had loved her. I loved her with my whole heart. And now, standing in this rich apartment I'd earned overnight, I had to choose, destroy the woman who destroyed me, or let her go free. The choice should have been easy. It wasn't. Before we continue, if you love stories about love, betrayal, and hard choices, hit that subscribe button. You won't believe how this story ends. 3 years ago, I was nobody. James Hartwell, a name that meant nothing. I worked 16 hours a day at a small tech company, sleeping on a cheap couch in a tiny apartment where the heat barely worked. My only treat was old coffee from the corner store. I met Olivia on the coldest night in February. I was walking home late at night when I saw her sitting on library steps, crying. She wore a thin coat that couldn't keep her warm, and she was shaking as she cried. "Are you okay?" I asked, even though it was a dumb question. She looked up at me with makeup running down her face and laughed sadly. "Do I look okay?" I sat down next to her, not caring that the concrete was freezing. "Not really, no." She'd just lost her apartment, lost her job as a designer when her company closed. She had $17 and nowhere to go. I should have kept walking, should have just given her a phone number for help. Instead, I said, "I have a couch. It's old and my apartment is cold, but you can stay there if you need to." She looked at me like I'd given her the world. "You don't even know me." "I know you're freezing. I know you need help. That's enough." That night, we shared my tiny apartment, 2 broken people keeping each other warm. We talked until morning about our dreams, our failures, our refusal to give up. She fell asleep on my couch, and I slept on the floor, giving her my only blanket. When I woke, she'd drawn something on a napkin, a picture of me sleeping, with the words, "The kindest stranger." I kept that napkin. Even now, it's in my wallet. Olivia didn't stay a stranger for long. She moved in after a week. We were broke and struggling, living on cheap noodles and hope, but we were happy. She got small design jobs, I kept working, and in my free time I worked on my own project, a computer program that could predict stock market patterns. Olivia believed it first. "This is amazing, James," she said one night, looking at my laptop at 3 a.m. "You know that, right? This could change everything." "It's probably nothing," I said, scared to hope. She grabbed my face and made me look at her. "It's not nothing. You're not nothing. Stop being afraid of what you could become." I kissed her then, and I knew, whatever happened, I wanted her with me forever. She designed everything for my program, worked for free, putting all her talent into my dream like it was hers, too. We'd stay up all night, her drawing designs while I wrote code, our shoulders touching, believing we were building something special. 6 months later, we got our first investor meeting. Olivia bought me a tie from a thrift store. It was ugly, bright orange with blue stripes, but I wore it proudly because she chose it. The investor said no. So did the next 12. But we didn't quit. We couldn't. We had each other, and that felt like enough. On our first anniversary of meeting, that cold February night, I took her back to the library steps where I'd found her. I'd saved for 3 months to buy a small silver ring, nothing fancy, just a promise. "I don't have much," I told her, kneeling on those same steps, "but everything I am, everything I'm building, I want to share it with you. Marry me, Olivia." She said yes, crying the same way she cried the night we met, but this time from happiness. We promised we'd get married officially when we could afford a real wedding. We promised we'd build our life together step by step. I believed every word. The big break came 2 years later. An investment company finally saw what Olivia and I had built. They wanted to invest $20 million, but there was one condition. They needed proof my program worked on something big. They gave us 3 months to prove it with a real prediction, something big that everyone could see. The pressure almost destroyed me. I barely slept, barely ate. The program needed to be perfect, and every detail mattered. Olivia stayed with me through all of it, bringing me food I forgot to eat, pulling me away from the computer when I was too tired. "You're going to make yourself sick," she said one night. "If this fails, we lose everything," I said. "The investor, the dream, all of it." She knelt beside my chair. "If it fails, we still have each other. That's not nothing, James. That's everything." But I was too focused to hear her, too obsessed with winning to see what I was losing. I found the perfect test, a merger between 2 drug companies that everyone thought was impossible. My program predicted it would happen in 6 weeks and the stock price would triple. I put everything into a detailed presentation. Olivia helped me make it beautiful, impossible to ignore. Then I made a mistake, a terrible trusting mistake. I told Olivia everything, the companies involved, the timing, the exact stocks. I shared my whole plan because she was my partner, my future wife, the person I trusted most in the world. 3 days later, our biggest competitor, Garrison Tech, released almost the same prediction, beating us. They recommended the same stocks, used similar data, and made themselves look like geniuses. Our investor meeting was a disaster. "Someone else got there first," they said coldly. "We can't invest in second place." I tried to explain that our data was better, but it didn't matter. We'd lost the race. The deal died. $20 million gone. My dream destroyed. I came home that night broken, and Olivia held me while I cried. "We'll rebuild. We'll find another way." I wanted to believe her, but something felt wrong. I found the truth by accident. 2 weeks after we lost the deal, I was fixing Olivia's laptop. It kept freezing, and she asked me to save her files before I fixed it. I was copying her documents when I saw a file named garrisontech_payment_confirmation.pdf. My hands went cold. I opened it, read it 3 times, hoping I was wrong, but there was no mistake. Garrison Tech had paid Olivia $50,000 for secret business information delivered on the exact day I'd told her my plan. She had sold me out. The woman I loved, the woman I'd given everything to, had sold my dream for money. I sat there staring at the screen, feeling like my heart was breaking. Every memory changed in an instant. Her support? Was that real or fake? Her belief in me? Was that love or just business? The ring I'd given her, did it mean anything? When she came home, I was still sitting there, the laptop open to the proof. "James?" She saw my face and knew, just knew. $50,000, I said quietly. "That's what I was worth to you." Her face went white. "Let me explain." "Explain what? That you stole everything I built and sold it? That while I was killing myself working, you were selling my secrets?" Tears ran down her face. "I was desperate, James. We were drowning in debt. I thought if I could just get us some money. You thought betraying me was the answer? You destroyed our only chance. They didn't know they'd use it before your meeting. They promised they'd wait. They lied to you." My voice broke, "just like you lied to me." She reached for me, but I pulled away. "I love you," she cried. "I know I destroyed everything, but I love you. I was trying to save us." "There is no us anymore."
I said it quietly, but it hit hard. She collapsed, and I walked out of the apartment without looking back. That was the last time I spoke to Olivia. Losing everything made things clear. With nothing left to lose, I started over, rebuilt my program from scratch, made it better. I lived in my car for 3 months, showering at the gym, working at coffee shops, refusing to quit. And then, impossibly, my prediction came true. The drug company merger I'd predicted happened exactly as my program said. The stock price tripled. The financial world exploded, trying to figure out who'd seen it coming. This time, I had proof I'd made the prediction first. Saved documents, emails, everything. I sent it to a journalist, and the story went viral. Within 2 days, I had 7 investors fighting to fund me. I took the biggest offer, $100 million. Overnight, I became exactly what Olivia and I had dreamed of: successful, rich, proven right, and completely alone. I bought the expensive apartment, hired people, built a company. Everyone wanted to know my secret, but I never told them the truth. Heartbreak is powerful fuel. I didn't contact Olivia, didn't tell her about my success. As far as I knew, she'd taken her money and disappeared. Until last night. Until I found the email that changed everything.
The email wasn't to me. It was from Garrison Tech's finance manager to their lawyers, accidentally sent to an old email address I still checked. They were discussing a lawsuit, worried about getting caught, and in their careless discussion, they revealed everything. Olivia never sold my secrets. Garrison Tech had hacked her laptop. They'd been watching me for months, trying to beat me. When they found out Olivia and I were together, they put spyware on her computer at a coffee shop when she left it alone for 5 minutes. They stole my plan directly from her files I'd shared with her out of love. Then they did something evil. They created fake payment documents and put them on her laptop, knowing I was smart enough to eventually find them. They wanted me to blame her, wanted me to destroy my own support so I'd fall apart. And it worked perfectly. The worst part? The email included Olivia's angry messages to them after I'd accused her. She'd figured out what they'd done, confronted them, threatened to expose everything. They threatened her back, said if she told me the truth, they'd destroy her career, bury her in legal bills she couldn't afford. So she let me hate her, let me think she'd betrayed me, let me walk away believing the worst because she thought I was better off thinking she chose money over love than knowing the truth. Because the truth was worse. I'd abandoned her when she needed me most. I'd been so quick to believe the worst, so ready to throw away everything over a lie. And she'd loved me enough to let me go. I found her address, still in the city, barely, a tiny apartment in the cheapest area, working 3 jobs to survive. I drove there at midnight, my heart pounding, knocked on her door like a ghost. She opened it, saw me, and the look on her face, hope and hurt and love and pain all at once, almost killed me. "Olivia," I whispered, "I know everything. I know what they did. I know you never—" She closed her eyes, tears streaming. "You weren't supposed to find out. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have believed you. I should have trusted. You believed what made sense. I had $50,000 that I couldn't explain. The evidence was perfect. They made sure of that. Why didn't you fight harder? Why didn't you make me listen?" She smiled sadly. "Because you needed to hate me to move forward. I saw it in your eyes that night. You were going to give up, James. You were going to quit everything. But if you hated me, if you had something to prove, I knew you'd keep going. And you did." I grabbed her hands. "I don't care about the money. I don't care about any of it without you. You should care. You built something amazing. We built something amazing. You designed every part of it. Your belief made it real." I pulled out my wallet and took out that old napkin, the picture she'd drawn of me 3 years ago. "I never stopped carrying this, never stopped loving you, not for 1 second. She looked at the napkin, then at me, her face breaking. I missed you every single day. Marry me, I said, for real this time, not when we can afford it, right now, tomorrow. I don't want to waste another second without you. She laughed through her tears. You're crazy. Say yes. You're completely crazy and I love you so much. Say yes, Olivia. Yes. God, yes. Always yes. I kissed her there in the doorway of her small apartment, and for the first time since I'd lost her, I felt rich. Because some things can't be measured in money. Some things you can't put a price on at all. 6 months later, I didn't just marry Olivia. I made her my business partner, 50% ownership, every decision shared. We sued Garrison Tech until they went bankrupt and used the money to create a charity that helps struggling business owners who've been sabotaged by bigger companies. Sometimes I think about that night I walked out on her, so sure I knew the truth, so ready to believe the worst. And I'm grateful. Grateful that love is stronger than pride, that truth eventually comes out, and that some mistakes can be forgiven. Because the real overnight fortune wasn't the money, it was getting a second chance with the only person who'd ever truly believed in me, even when I didn't believe in her.